If you're thinking about settling your workers' comp case, you might be wondering, am I going to lose my job? The short answer is maybe. A workers' comp settlement does not automatically mean you will lose your job, but it does depend on a few key things. The terms of your settlement, whether you agree to resign, your medical restrictions, your employer's policies, and your state's laws. So let's break this down. Does a workers' comp settlement require you to resign? A settlement doesn't automatically require you to quit or resign, but sometimes a resignation is required by the employer and is part of these settlement terms. Here's when a resignation is common. In some cases, especially when there's tension between you and your employer, the employer and their insurance company may ask for a resignation in exchange for a larger sum. This is more common when you can't return back to your old job because of your medical restrictions, the employer does not have light duty available, or the relationship between you and your employer has broken down. Any required resignation will be known and agreed to before any settlement hearing is conducted. Here's when you may be able to keep your job. If there's no resignation requirement in a resolution or settlement of a workers' comp claim, and your doctor permits you and clears you to go back to your regular job without any restrictions, you may be able to return to that employer. Every case is different though, so you have to be aware of what you're agreeing to. It's easy to spot a resignation request because you will be provided with paperwork that you will have to sign. You want to keep an eye out for language like voluntary resignation, separation of employment, or the employee agrees to resign. If you see that language, that's a red flag for you to understand that your job is part of the deal. Can I return to work after a workers' comp settlement? Yes, and many people do. Here's how it works if you're able to return to the same employer. If your doctor clears you for certain work with restrictions and your employer can accommodate that or has a position that can comply with the restrictions, you might be able to return back to that employer. However, when you can't perform the essential functions of your job, that's where things get dicey. Here's how it works, returning to work for a different employer after a workers' comp settlement. The good news is you're generally free to work anywhere else you'd like to following a workers' comp settlement, and you don't need any permission from your old employer or their workers' comp insurance company. Many people, in fact, find a new job after a workers' comp settlement that is better suited for their new physical condition. What happens to your benefits after you settle a workers' comp case? This depends on the terms of the settlement that you accepted. Typically, a workers' comp settlement involves a last one-time lump sum payment, so that after you receive that settlement, if you were already receiving weekly or bi-weekly wage loss reimbursement benefits, those will stop. This might be different in other states, but typically in Pennsylvania, workers' comp insurance company wants to pay a one-time lump sum payment and be done with their obligations and responsibilities forever. A lump sum settlement might not include payment of all the monies at once, but rather might defer the payments over a certain period of time, which is considered an annuity. When it comes to medical benefits, there are two main types of settlements. The first, which is the majority of the settlements, is with closed medical benefits. After you receive the lump sum, you are then responsible for any future medical costs. The second option is where the medical is kept open. That means that future treatment that you might need will still be covered. If your medical is closed and your condition worsens in the future, you will be responsible for any of those medical bills. What if my employer fires me after settlement? This is where things can get serious. An employer can't fire you solely or just because you filed a workers' comp claim. That's called retaliatory discharge, and that is against the law. However, in most states, including Pennsylvania, employees are employees at will and can be terminated for any reason or no reason at all, so long as they are not discriminated against under a protected class. So they can't fire you because you filed a workers' comp claim, but they can fire you for other reasons. Can you keep your job if you accept a lump sum settlement? Yes, but only if a resignation isn't part of the agreement. A lump sum settlement doesn't automatically mean you're leaving your job. And that's why you always want to confirm whether or not the terms of the agreement require a separation clause. Should I accept a settlement if I want to keep my job? That depends on your medical outlook, your relationship with your employer, whether a resignation is even required, and whether you intended to return to this job for long term. Sometimes settling your case and keeping your job can coexist, but other times a settlement will effectively end your employment with that employer. So make sure you know which situation you're in and what is required before you agree to any settlement.